Love is not easily angered. 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 5. Now, in life, we will often meet annoying people, those who irritate us, upset and offend us, or even hurt us. Well, love does not have a short fuse. The New King James Bible says that love is not easily provoked. When we are irritated, fed up, and become angry easily, we are not showing love. The original Greek word paroxuno is where we get the English word paroxysm, which means a sudden seizure of anger. You are easily triggered or roused to anger. One Bible translation has it this way: you're being touchy. You are overly sensitive to what other people say or what they do or behave. If you are like that, you are not a loving person. Wow. This is not easy when every study on this planet shows that we live in a very angry world, which is getting increasingly angrier. One US report says that the average adult gets angry about once a day and irritated about 3 times a day. Another study from the UK says that more than 1 in 10 have trouble controlling their anger. Almost half of all staff regularly lose their temper at work. 60% lose their temper while driving. And almost half of them will flash obscene gestures at other drivers when angered. For sure, a lot of these people are also Christians. Now, being angry is not always sinful or wrong, but being an angry person is. Look, even God gets angry from time to time, but He is slow to anger, abounding in love. That means it takes a very, very long time for God to boil, for Him to be upset. And because He's abounding in love, His love puts the brakes on any anger until most of the time it just fizzles away. Now consider Jesus Christ. He came to reveal to us who God the Father is like. All 4 Gospels record that Jesus did get angry, but very seldom. In fact, only a few times. Very, very few. How do I know? I counted them. Out of the 180 different events in the Gospels, Jesus was angry maybe only about 7 times. I counted only about 7 times. And even when He was angry, He never once lost His cool or lost control of Himself. He never once sinned in anger. Jesus never once flew off the handle when He was provoked. And mind you, He was constantly being provoked by His enemies. Jesus didn't raise His voice insistently when He spoke. No. It's not like that. Let me tell you, no, you are wrong. I didn't say that. It is you who say it first, you stupid idiot, you. No. Jesus was not at all like that. The more I read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the more I realize He was not at all irritable, ultra-sensitive, or easily offended. He didn't sulk or pout or get fed up easily. Jesus was actually a very good-natured person. And that's why even little children love to cling on to Him and be around Him. To be Christ-like is to learn how to be good-natured like Him. Jesus says, "Learn from me, for I'm gentle and lowly in heart." Matthew 11, verse 29. And that's what I want to learn from Him. And you must too. For years, the biggest weakness in my life was my temper. How do I know? Son told me, my wife told me, "Kong, this temper of yours is scary. It is impossible for people to work with you." I used to think that being a strong leader, especially a leader with vision, faith, and conviction, it means I have to exert the force of my personality to get things done. And I shouldn't suffer fools gladly. That good leaders are excellent, efficient, and effective, and they don't muck around with people who are wasting their time. I often use anger as a tool to let people know I was the boss, and they better ship up or ship out. Look, it's my way or the highway. I use my temper to intimidate and punish my co-workers and my disciples. After a while, they felt that being around me was like treading on eggshells. If one little thing didn't go my way, kaboom! You get blasted till kingdom come. Of course, I often rationalize and excuse myself that this was how anointed leadership and authority should be. And I always tried to be pastoral after an anger outburst by saying, hey, I hope you know that I love you, right? So please don't take this personally, okay? The explosion was over in a few minutes, but remember, Pastor still loves you. I've since realized that that statement was so wrong on so many levels. First of all, it certainly isn't love. Jesus Christ, the ultimate anointed and excellent leader, didn't behave like that. Love is not easily angered. By being easily provoked and uncontrollably angry, I was not showing love. I was not being a loving pastor. Secondly, my temper was indeed like a bomb. And when it exploded, I left a lot of people hurt and devastated. In March of the last decade, I have been meditating on the patience of Jesus Christ. How Jesus shows his love by being gentle and tender. Then for 2.5 years, I was in a very volatile place with a lot of violent, angry people where temper flared up at the slightest thing. Inside, I asked the Holy Spirit to help me to change. Help me to be more like Jesus. That even if conditions weren't perfect and things didn't go my way, I could learn to be gentle and tender, full of peace and the joy of the Lord. So every day, I ask Jesus to help me cultivate zero irritability, that I don't get fed up and annoyed by anyone or anything. At first, of course, it was difficult. I like certain things done in a certain way with a certain attitude. But the more I focus on the unlimited patience of Jesus, the more I realize that many things I considered annoying were not really so important in life. Revival doesn't come only because of excellence and efficiency. Revival comes when God's love is present, when God's love is tangible. As I tried to cultivate zero irritability and zero anger outbursts, I didn't know that people were observing me and that every day I was demonstrating the love of Christ to them. Just like love is a fruit of the Spirit, temper is a fruit of the devil. But like any fruit, it has to be cultivated. Every time you give in to your temper, you actually become an angrier person. The more irritated by people or by things you are, the more irritable you become. Each time you explode in a rage, when you finally simmer down, what festers deep inside your soul is bitterness. Bitterness. Even if you're not bitter with specific people, you will soon become bitter with life, with work, with ministry, and sometimes even with God. I personally know of so many leaders, captains of industries, church leaders who are always angry about something, and they wear their anger on their sleeves like a distorted badge of honor. This is really wrong, really, really wrong. One of the most poisonous snakes in the world is the rattlesnake. They say that when a rattlesnake is cornered and stressed out, it sometimes becomes so angry, that it loses self-control and bites himself. And of course, it dies. It bites himself and dies. When you go into a rage, you are biting and poisoning yourself with the venom of bitterness. Each time you do that, a part of your soul dies, bit by bit, you are really killing yourself. If you have a temper problem, then every day you must focus on the unlimited patience of Jesus. Just think about his relationship with his own disciples. This lot wasn't very easy to manage. Peter, the talker, long on promises, short on delivery. James and John, the sons of thunder, impetuous and self-righteous. Philip, always the slow learner. Thomas, the doubter, always struggling to believe. Judas, the traitor, a selfish, disloyal man. Did Jesus ever lose his cool at them? Never. Not even at Judas. He may have rebuked and admonished them on a few occasions, but always as a teacher correcting his student. He hardly ever raised his voice or lost his temper with them. This is what it means to love people to the very end. And Jesus loved them all the way. By the power of the Holy Spirit, you got to make it your goal to have a high tolerance for people. Love can tolerate weakness. When people are slow in learning, responding, or changing, or when they are plainly annoying, realize that it's wrong to be easily provoked. It is wrong to be easily irritated. This isn't love. Remember, Moses couldn't enter into the promised land because he was provoked to anger by the Israelites. Numbers chapter 20. If Moses could speak Chinese, he would tell you the Chinese proverb is true. 人的一时之气，免得白日之忧. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. Our temper is a sign that deep inside, there is a terrible disease within our soul. The temper is just the escaping bubbles, revealing a cesspool of unresolved frustration buried deep inside us. And that's why we are so angry all the time. We need to surrender this area to God and allow His healing touch to drain it out of us. From today, don't get fed up or frustrated at the slightest thing said or done. Cultivate a very high boiling point. That means let it take a lot for you to boil. By all means, be a strong go-getter, be a leader, a high achiever, full of faith, full of vision, but be like Jesus, gentle, tender, good-natured, and easygoing. Love doesn't get angry easily. It is not quick-tempered or irritable. It patiently extends a lot of grace and mercy to all.